All right, let's talk about some of the smallest, but seriously, the most important words in the English language, prepositions. Yeah, I know, they can be kind of confusing, but getting them right is one of the keys to making your writing really clear and powerful. So let's dive in. If you think about it, language is just a big pile of words until we actually connect them, right? We need something to build bridges between our ideas to show how one thing relates to another. And today, we're going to meet the unsung hero that makes all of that happen. I mean, really, how does it work? How do you take two separate things, like, say, a cat and a bed, and turn them into a full picture? What's that secret sauce that gives our sentences real structure and meaning? Well, without that key ingredient, this is what we get, just disconnected pieces. The key, the box. The key, what the box? The cat, the bed. Where? It just feels like something's missing because, well, it is. And there it is. With just one tiny word, inside, under, the whole picture snaps into focus. These are prepositions. They're the words that create relationships and give our sentences meaning. They tell us the where and the how. So let's get right to it. Probably the best way to think about a preposition is like it's the glue in a sentence. It's the stuff that holds all the different parts together so they actually make sense. And that's exactly what we mean. A preposition's whole job is to show the relationship between a noun, which we call the object, and some other word in the sentence. It's the connector. It's how the book is connected to the table. And these relationships, they come in a few main flavors. Prepositions can tell us about location, like the book that's on the table. They can tell us about time, like something happening after the movie. They show direction, a ball flying toward your head. Or they can even show association, like leaving with someone. They're super versatile little words. Okay, now for the fun part. We're going to talk about one of the most famous grammar rules in the book, a rule that chances are you were told never, ever to break. But what if I told you it's not really a rule at all? Oh, yeah, you know this one. It's been hammered into our brains for years, right? Never end a sentence with a preposition. It sounds so definitive. But the truth is a little more flexible and, honestly, way more practical. I mean, check this out. Who are you going to the party with? That's how real people talk. It sounds completely natural. Now, the proper version, with whom are you going to the party? It's not wrong, but let's be real. It sounds pretty stuffy and formal for a normal conversation. And this example just seals the deal. To avoid ending with into, you have to twist the sentence into this thing. I saw the swimming pool into which I wanted to jump. Is it technically correct? Sure. Is it also clunky and super awkward? Absolutely. Sometimes ending with a preposition is just the clearest, most natural way to say something. Think of it as a guideline, not a law. So if we can chill out about ending sentences with prepositions, what are the things we should actually watch out for? Let's focus on a couple of practical rules that will make a real difference in your writing. First thing, cut out the extra words. Sometimes you'll see people write something like identical to with, but you just don't need both prepositions. Something is identical to something else. That's it. Getting rid of the with makes the sentence cleaner and way more direct. Simple as that. And second, just be aware of your audience. In a professional email or a formal paper, a phrase like go out with might sound a little too casual. Swapping it for a single, more direct verb like date just tightens up your writing and makes it sound more polished. Oh, and here's a super handy tip that trips a lot of people up: capitalizing prepositions in titles. The rule of thumb is pretty easy. You don't capitalize short prepositions like of, in, or at. The big exception, you do capitalize them if they're the very first or very last word of the title. See here, in is lowercase, but across is capitalized because it kicks off the title. So, as we start to bring this all together, what's the big idea? Really, it just comes down to being precise. Using the right preposition in the right way brings a kind of clarity and professionalism to your writing that's tough to get any other way. And that is really the whole story. They might be little words, but they do a huge job. And if you just pay a little more attention to them, if you can master these small words, you can make a seriously big impact on anyone who reads your work. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. We just debunked one of the most famous grammar rules out there. So, what other rules that we follow without question are really just strong suggestions? Something to think about.